Welcome in 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Murray, we got ourselves a hockey game tonight. We've had games every night, and it's not going to end anytime soon. Tomorrow night and then all next week. But we will have full shows soon, everybody, so thank you for sticking with us. We give you our takes, 30 minutes of takes. And then we hand things off to Ryan Johnson and Bob Beers tonight on the call for the Bees. A lot to get into here. I got a lot of takes here. And if you want to sneak a couple of calls in, we can. 617-779-0985. We're on YouTube as well. So the Bruins are in action tonight. The Patriots, they're gearing up for the Falcons on Sunday. Ramondre Stevenson still got a little bit of an owie in his toe. Thursday night football tonight. I got a pick for you in this one. Well, I'll give that for you coming up in just a little bit. And the Celtics made a change to their lineup that I wanted to discuss. Those are the major topics for us. We'll certainly have those for you at 617-779-0985. So maybe you were just listening to the crossover, but if you weren't, I will throw it back in there. But the Bruins play the Sabres tonight. I made a comment the other night that I thought the Bruins defense and their scheme, their new scheme, defensive scheme, the hybrid defensive scheme that they are using nowadays, looked better in front of Korpisalo than it did in front of Jeremy Swayman. And I really said it because I thought it. I felt it. It looked it. And at morning skate today, Marco Sturm mentioned that Jonas Korpisalo would start tonight against the Sabres on Thursday. This is the first time that Korpisalo will start consecutive games since they acquired him for Linus Ullmark. Just think about that for a second. I just brought up in the crossover with Felger that I thought it was smelly that Swayman was in net. Mike's initial thought was he got benched. I would just like to let everybody know that Korpisalo has never started consecutive games. Never. Since being acquired, has not played consecutive games when Jeremy Swayman's on the roster. This is different. This is a change. So what's the reason? What's the reason for the change tonight? Why? Yeah, I do agree. Jeremy Swayman the other night, there's talk about buy-in, right? Marco Sturm has talked about buy-in. There were three guys that I indicated the other night that did not buy in. Number one was Charlie McAvoy. But I will say this. Charlie McAvoy looked bought in the other night in the 5-2 win. He did. So as much as I call him out, he played outstanding the other night. The other guy in that mix was David Pastrnak. I thought he was a passenger all night, made no impact on the game at all, and he had 2 points in the previous game. I also thought it was Jeremy Swayman. I thought Jeremy Swayman had a poor effort. I thought at times he was loafing out there along with the rest of the players. I thought Zadorov played bad. But the three guys that this team needs to depend on are Swayman, McAvoy, and Pastrnak. And I thought that the coach was calling the three of them out. And it's already happened this year. There's been guys who have been benched. David Pastrnak sat for a bit. Casey Middlestat got benched for Hustadinov. That didn't work out. Mason Lowry, right? Maybe it's this motivational tactic to get them ready, but I do think that Middlestat's responded since then. I think Lowry has responded. I thought McAvoy responded along with Pastrnak. All those things I thought were true. But now, you have Korpisalo back-to-back nights? Hey, listen, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have a lot of expectations for the Boston Bruins this year. I know that people are going to put their interest into the Patriots and what they're doing, and if the Celtics are going to be good enough for Jason Tatum to come back. I get it. This is the home of the Boston Bruins, and I do think it's a storyline that Korpisalo is playing back-to-back and Swayman isn't. It didn't happen last year. It never happened. So Sturm didn't really mention a reason. There could be lots of the reasons behind it. Maybe it's playing the hot hand, right? Sometimes it's good to ride a hot goaltender. I don't think Korpisalo's been great, but I do think he was good the other night. Does he want to save Swayman for the game against Carolina over the weekend? right? We always talk about what's the better matchup. Which goaltender would you rather have in certain situations? So maybe it is a tactic to motivate them. Maybe they are looking ahead to Carolina on Saturday. Maybe that's a thing. And you don't want to keep Korpisalo sitting because that was one of the things he talked about last year. Late in the year, Korpisalo talked about that he felt like he could have benefited more by more playing time because they never played Korpisalo back-to-back. The Bruins made a lot of changes to their goaltenders this year. They changed their goaltending coach. The playing time was distributed. They did all that. It was all going to be monitored by Marco Sturm. So when he talks about buy-in, at times I wondered if guys were buying in and even listening to the coach. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. But it looked different on a back-to-back after a horrific 7-2 loss against the Islanders. It just looked different. So I think we got to keep our eyes on this one. Maybe it's easy for some to say they're benching Swayman. I don't know if that's what's in the best interest for Swayman or even the Bruins for that matter, but they are trying something new, and they do need buy-in. When I look back at it, Swayman, right, against the Sabres, had 21 saves in a 3-1 win. He's 3-4 this year with a 3.45 goals against average. It's not great. I mean, Korpisalo isn't better either. He's 2-3 with a 3.62 Both goalies have had bad games. They've been bad. I still think it's the scheme in front of them, but this is where it brings up watching. Is it the scheme? Is it the buy-in? Or is it the goaltender? I think we're starting to get close on what are the answers that Marco Sturm keeps saying after the game. Who is he calling out? What are the names? Because he benches people. He's done it. Is tonight a benching? Or is it a look ahead to Carolina? Either way, I hope it's motivating for Jeremy Swayman, who last year had the contract, right? Carried the load. And he sucked at it. Let's just be honest. He wasn't good at it. He hasn't lived up to the contract or even the workload of our number one goalie. He hasn't played at a high level, and quite frankly, I don't know if he can do it for an entire season. The jury's out. What I do know is when the Bruins were good, their identity was their goaltending. And maybe they are going to Korpisalo after a good outing, and they want to get some sort of winning streak going, or people who buy in. And when I said it the other night, I meant it. I didn't think McAvoy or Pastrnak bought in. I also didn't think Swayman did. The two of them got a chance to come back, and they played well. McAvoy had 2 assists. Pastrnak had a goal and assist. They responded. Jeremy Swayman doesn't get a chance to respond. And that's what's different. He's always been back in this spot. I'll have more on the Bees and the Islanders coming up in just a little bit, but I got the sniffer out on that one. Is it a benching? I'm now curious. Is it a benching? The other thing, Skaz sent this over to me today when it comes to the projected Olympic roster. And I saw Charlie McAvoy's name on there. Okay, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, great. Sure. Goalies, though. I saw this one. Hellebuck. Was it Ottinger? And Jeremy Swayman on that list. It's hard for me to sit here and tell you he's the third best American goaltender. I know people love Olympic team talk. They love it, right? This guy's now not playing back-to-back games. Is he a number one? Can he carry the workload? Like, all those things are real about Swayman. Oh, but remember he had a great summer? Remember? He was going to be a whole new Jeremy Swayman. Well, maybe Marco Sturm is benching him. But he's not going to have a chance tonight to respond. And as you look ahead to that projected Olympic roster, I don't know if he's the third best goaltender either. So we'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. The Bees are in action tonight. I get some numbers for you. I might even have a player prop for you tonight. One of their players had a child, and I think it's always good to bet a goal that night. I'll give you the odds on that one. But when it comes to the Bruins, is it the defensive scheme or is it the goalie? This is where I'm at. It seems like they're struggling with the scheme. The other night, though, it was better. So I would like to ask Marco Sturm, if you're there, hey, Marco! Is it the goalie or is it the scheme? To me, this message is sending goalie. All right, we'll take a quick break. I did want to get into a couple other things tonight. Celtics, they played last night. There was a few adjustments I wanted to credit Joe Mazzulla on. And a player that we were high on did very well. So we'll get into that. And it's Thursday night football tonight. Tua Tagovailoa versus Lamar Jackson. You ready for 2-win teams going at it tonight? And is there a wrangle? For those that don't know the wrangle, it's the ref angle. I got a lot into tonight's game as well. We'll take a quick break. We got Skaz here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5, The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
win today.
On the Sports Hub.
Celtics by 6. Pritchard, lob, Kata two-hand slam. Celtics have their largest lead.
It's good stuff. Kata just swings towards the rim. Defenders leave him. Just toss it up. Ooh,
12-2 is the Boston run. Derek White knocks it away. 3-on-2. White lobs it. Elevates and throws it down with two hands. Derek White had the steal. And what'd he say? Why not?
Why not?
What's up? I'm Joe Murray. That was Grandy and Max last night. Celtics winners. They've now won 2 in a row. We're here until 6:30, but we got another 10 minutes left. We'll hand things over to Ryan Johnson and Bob Beers tonight. And the Bees take on the Buffalo Sabres tonight. I got some odds for you, who I think should be a goal scorer tonight. And just a couple other things regarding the Bees coming up in a bit. But why not? My not? We've been saying that for a while. Now, I don't want to take the victory lap right now, but to be honest with you, that was one of the names we talked about here on this show as a guy that can play the 4. I know he's more of a ball handler. He's 22 years old. He's younger than Baylor Shireman, who got a contract extension today. Did you see that one? Who's barely getting off the bench. But I think Minot can help out on this offense because he's big, he's long, and he's a defender. And I'll give you some of those defender numbers coming up in a bit, but I want to credit Joe Mazzulla for an adjustment, let's say. An adjustment that he's made regarding the Celtics. They went with Sam Hauser to start the year in the starting 5. Hauser has been better defensively. Was a guy that was picked on in the past. But I just think Hauser's better coming off the bench and being that type of shooter. So how do you change that? And I thought Minot would get some reps this year at the 4 because of his length and his size. Now, he had 14 rebounds last night. That's impressive. We should talk about it. And I think at this point, since he's been in the starting lineup, the team's 2-0. So they should ride it for a little bit. Now, against Philadelphia, we'll see how he does playing down low. But I think Saturday night, it's going to be a huge issue against the Rockets. I think it's going to be huge. But I do want to just give some credit to Joe Mazzulla for making the adjustment. Because Sam Hauser last night had 15 points in the first half and then went off for 7 threes. 7 threes is good. Like, Sam Hauser's been actually pretty good all year long. But I think they wanted to start him. Didn't work out. They don't have a guy to replace Jason Tatum. Duh. They don't have a guy. You would think Anthony Simons can put up the kind of numbers offensively that Jason Tatum can, but he can't. But I want to give a little bit of credit to Jaylen Brown, too. I think he had 15 points the other night. He had 41 in a loss, and he had 30 last night. Where I was really impressed with Jaylen Brown was his shooting ability. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily known as a three-point shooter. That's why a lot of people don't like the philosophy of shooting threes, because it doesn't benefit Jaylen Brown or even Jason Tatum for that matter. But it does benefit guys like Sam Hauser. I mean, does it benefit Derek White, who had 19 last night, but has been chucking up threes a lot? He's hit as many. It's not good. He's shooting up a lot. But I wanted to shout out Jaylen Brown because he played 32 minutes. He had 30 points. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Like, he did a lot. But from 3, he went 4 for 9. But the guys got a little excited on this one, guys. I don't know if you can pop this one up for us, but this was before the half. It was a long three-pointer, and Grandy and Max got really excited.
Jaylen Brown out of the logo. 7 seconds to go. Pritchard sets a high screen. Dean Wade challenges Jaylen. 4 seconds. Jaylen spinning. He's going to have to force it. Jaylen steps back, high arcing 3, and he got it! You've got to be kidding me with the shots we've seen in the first half tonight.
Oh, my goodness. That was deep, and deeper.
Donovan Mitchell demonstrated some shots you can't defend in the first quarter, and Jaylen Brown has answered him all throughout the second.
Oh, yeah. Deep, and deeper. That's where they're shooting them from, everybody. Oh, Grandy mentioned Donovan Mitchell there, huh? Remember before the game, guys, we didn't know who was playing? He was listed as questionable. Then he played. Then he scored 15 points. And then he had 0 in the second half. And it was smelly. Because it happened the night before with James Harden, whose betting number was 20.5. And it landed on 20. So today I see Jack Simone. He was one of the guys in the media team basketball. We've had him on the show. Good kid. But over the last 2 games, the Cavs and Pelicans have combined to shoot 6 for 28 with Josh Minot as the primary defender. The Cavs went 1 for 12. The Pelicans went 5 of 16. These are the players Minot has guarded. Evan Mobley, 0 for 6. Fears, 0 for 4. Murphy, 1 for 4. Jordan Poole, 2 of 5. Hunter, 0 for 3. Seems to be a little bit of a campaign of why not Minot starting and a defender. I just thought there was some shenanigans in last night's game. That's all. And how can you blame me with the things that are going on in the NBA these days? So we'll see what happens when they play some bigs over the next couple of weeks. We'll see what we have. A couple of things I wanted to bring up. The Patriots back at practice. Ramondre Stevenson was not there. He's still dealing with a toe injury. So is this why they brought in 2 more running backs this week? Could be interesting if they were without him. That could be a lingering thing. Really could be. Also, Thursday night football tonight. You got yourselves the Ravens and Dolphins. Right now, Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. They're going to get Lamar Jackson back in this one. Do people realize how bad the Ravens defense has been? I know that the Dolphins are coming off a 31-point win. I don't know. I mean, I watch a lot of football, and I kind of keep up to date on how players play as underdogs and things like that. Tua Tagovailoa against the spread as an underdog of 6 or more is 6-0. He's pushed 6-0-1. He's one of the better underdog quarterbacks of a touchdown or more. And tonight it's 7.5, and you just think Lamar Jackson's going to come back off an injury and just crush Miami? Their defense stinks. This probably won't be supported very well. Give me the Dolphins tonight to cover. That's 7.5 in. Oh, would you like a ref angle on this too? Is it Novak is the official tonight? Home teams on Thursday Night Football when